Well, I just wanted to say welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are here again, thank you. This is the channel where we try to make our daily life our spiritual life, and where I try to inspire Buddhism in others. So that is my goal with this particular channel, and I feel like the more that I do these, the better they get. I got a lot of really good response with the last video I did regarding the first step in the Eightfold Path, right view. And I thought it would be really good to maybe go into some more detail about, because I don't necessarily want to go too fast through these. I feel like this channel could very easily become an explainer channel where I'm just talking about various aspects of Buddhism. I don't necessarily want to do that because there are so many channels out there and so many wonderful teachings, and I am not a qualified teacher. I mean, I'm very new to Buddhism. Everything that I've learned basically online, either through YouTube or through other online sources. I've actually never really attended a temple, so everything I've learned, I've basically learned on my own. So having said that, I really don't consider myself to be a qualified teacher. However, Buddhism has really shaped and transformed my life, and I want to continue to share some of those transformative experiences. And that requires openness and vulnerability, which is kind of a theme on this channel, and it's something that we're going to continue to kind of push ourselves through because the obstacle is the path. Vulnerability is definitely an obstacle for me, so the only way I can really move through that is to be vulnerable and get comfortable being vulnerable and sort of expand my comfort zone. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the first of the Eightfold Path, right view, and some other ways in which that has really impacted my life. My wonderful dog wants out, so I thought it'd be cute if he kind of sat right here, but that is not going to happen. So yeah, last time I talked a little bit about my dad, and I talked about how my relationship with my father was really shaped by incorrect views, because I was seeing my father through the lens of anger and resentment and hostility. And when all of that cleared up, I was able to see the blue sky underneath. You know, when I let go of those clouds, it really did reveal itself to me. And that's beautiful, that's wonderful. And I kind of see my dad now as a human, right? A human being who is imperfect and who makes mistakes, but it's because of those mistakes and our willingness to overcome our mistakes that sort of makes us superhuman in some respects. So I think that's awesome. I am going to use this video as an opportunity to take responsibility for something that happened about 6 months ago or so. So there are quite a few different Buddhist nuns and monks that I follow. One of them his name is Venerable Nick, and he practices Buddhism out of Thailand. He also has a YouTube channel. And about a year ago, I would say, maybe a year and a half ago, I discovered his channel and didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that Buddhism was going to be a part of my path. And so I really began to follow along and practice. And, you know, my reason for doing so was pretty simple. I didn't know which particular tradition to follow, so I basically just started investigating all of them, which is sort of wonderful that I have the opportunity to do that, especially during a global pandemic. You know, I think about that a lot, and I do feel that in spite of all the tragedy unfolding in the world right now, there's a lot of opportunity for self-reflection and self-growth to transform ourselves and hopefully transform society as a whole eventually. That's sort of the ultimate goal. Although that will take a very long time, and that will require a tremendous amount of patience, because Buddhism is not about giving anybody an answer for anything. That's not why Buddha did what he did. He wasn't trying to answer sociological questions. He wasn't trying to answer, you know, why are we here kind of questions. It was more or less, how can we understand suffering and transform our suffering? so that we no longer have to suffer. And that's such a beautiful proposition. So back to Venerable Nick. I owe him an apology. About 6 months ago, he started a Reddit forum for his YouTube channel. And this was kind of a cool new idea. It's still around. It doesn't have that many members, but it's a really great place to get access to resources, to meet new people. I've been on there quite a bit, and I've gotten access to some really great teachings and resources just by interacting with people on his Reddit page. Having said that, when I started to follow Venerable Nick's teachings, I was deeply inspired. I mean, profoundly inspired, particularly by the lay people in his community in Thailand. I'm going to call them villagers. I don't know if they appreciate being called villagers. I have no idea. But those folks transformed my life. One of the very first teachings that I was exposed to on his YouTube channel was this idea of generosity. And it's this idea that generosity really is the cure for anger. And I really didn't understand that. I didn't understand why generosity was a cure for anger. But what I discovered was that the more we give, and this comes from his YouTube channel, the more we give, we also receive. So the more we try to lift up others, we're actually lifting ourselves up in the process. And that's the beauty of generosity. So, and I feel like that's why Buddhists are such gracious people. It's one of the 6 perfections. I think it's the first of the 6 perfections to practice generosity. It's a big deal in Buddhism. So I was following along, and I was inspired, and I wanted to become a part-time monk. And they have a program, it's a monk-like program, where men can ordain and work as a Buddhist monk for a certain period of time and train as a Buddhist monk. And I was really excited about this proposition. I really wanted to do it. But after doing some research and some investigating, I quickly found out that they will not allow gay men to ordain. And that particular tradition within Thai Buddhism, okay? I want to be very specific about that because this is not a rule that's widely shared throughout the Buddhist world. It's very specific to this one tradition in Thailand. So that was upsetting, and I became very angry. A little bit more about me. I am prior military. I served in the United States Air Force for 4 years. I served from 2000 to 2004. And I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I am acutely aware of those types of policies and the effect those policies can have on people. I ended up exchanging emails with Venerable Nick. He gave me some really great insight into how I can use generosity to help cure some of this. But that is a process that plays out over time. Anyways, fast forward about a year. Starts the Reddit page. And I am very excited about this Reddit page. And I sent Venerable Nick an email, and in that email, I was reacting. I wasn't responding. And I thought I would take that as an opportunity to ask his Reddit page group if I could, if they agree that gay men should be sort of barred from participating in this monk-like program. And I posted a thread, and it stirred quite a reaction within that community. Not from the fellow members, but from the organizers, the people that actually, I can't remember the name of it on Reddit, it's like the moderators. They were not necessarily happy that I did this. And they actually created a separate rule for that Reddit community that says we can't talk about this on that Reddit page. We can't talk about why And basically the explanation that I was given was, well, this is a rule that comes from the preceptor, the head monk. It's not necessarily something that anybody agrees with, but it is their rule and they have to abide by it, which is fine. I then emailed Venerable Nick, and the email that I sent him was not great. It was very convoluted, and it was kind of all over the place. And basically in the email I was asking him, is there any way you can talk to somebody and ask them to waive this rule? And his response was I mean, it was scolding, really. And it hurt. I don't think he was upset that I was asking that question. I think he was, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for him, and I'm not going to. But what I am going to do is apologize for doing that. Because, and I really owe Venerable Nick an apology. I do. And as someone who has followed his teachings and I benefited tremendously from those teachings, I wasn't thinking about the impact that could have on this community. I didn't stop and consider it. And had I stopped and considered it, I don't think I would have sent that email, and I don't think I would have posted that to his Reddit page, at least not at that time. I think I would have waited, continued to research it, sort of line up my ducks, and then go in with a more thorough explanation of my dog wants out. So, yeah, that is basically what happened. The apology is because I wasn't practicing mindfulness. I was reacting to that anger that I had from my service in the military, from my experience serving under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Had nothing to do with Thailand. It had nothing to do with this particular tradition. It had nothing to do with Venerable Nick, and yet I was sort of using that as an opportunity to vent about stuff that happened to me a very long time ago. Right view is powerful. These negative emotions really do cloud our judgment. And if we're not being truly mindful, then it can damage relationships. And that's basically what happened here. I damaged a relationship with somebody that to a teacher, which is not something anybody ever wants to do. So to Venerable Nick, I do sincerely apologize for that. And I hope you accept my apology. And I hope you understand that I made that mistake because I'm new to Buddhism. And I made that mistake because I care about this. It was coming, the intention was, I think, coming from the right direction. It was just very poorly executed. And I'm sure in time this will change. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to the folks it's up to that community to make those changes. I cannot foist anything on those folks. That's not how change happens. Change happens from within. So to Venerable Nick, I apologize. I do. I'm sorry. And I'm going to continue to study, to reflect, to contemplate these teachings in my life. When I make a mistake, I really want to view those mistakes as opportunities for potential growth so that I don't have to make these mistakes in the future and hopefully improve relationships over time. Yeah, so this video went on way too long. I'm going to have to edit this and shorten it, but yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say today. So, thank you so much. As always, make your daily life your spiritual life. If you want to follow along on my journey and you're getting something out of these, sharing these more vulnerable aspects of my life and how it relates to Buddhism, please subscribe and leave a comment so we can kind of interact and get to know each other. I would love that. All right, thanks.